We're in an era of storytelling, and our era of storytelling today, which is so important for communication, goes away as soon as we restore something. And having it in its original condition is something that really does tell stories. The sad thing is, as soon as we go in and restore it, we erase all that. And other than the descriptions or the old photographs, that car can't tell anything further. When we look at what RoadScholars does, it's a whole study. It's a whole research. It's digging deep into the archives to figure out not just what color that car was, but what the actual paint surface looked like. It's too easy to say we need to reupholster, chrome, and paint a car, but the great people at that business are people who really restore it.
Today, we are seeing matter turned into motion, and it's a very poignant kind of a thing, because here are these relic survivors, holdovers from a bygone era, and we are reenacting through their use what they did back in the day. They're not just metal, rubber, plastic, steel, aluminum that's sitting there on the floor as a relic of a former time. The reason that we treat these objects, these cars, as important historical artifacts is quite simply because they are.
Porsches handle beautifully, they're light, they're delicate, and they're fast. Once you get a 4Cam, it's a relatively small community of people who know about it. I'm aware of the history of all of them. I see it as my responsibility to take care of them, to preserve them. I have very little interest in archiving cars. I drive them.
These cars have a traditional legacy, a history of being pushed very hard. A regular Porsche 356 in the 1950s kind of petered out at about 4,500, maybe 5,000 RPMs. These cars come alive at 45 to 5. As I drive the car and you take it up in the RPMs in second to past 6,000, and in third gear, you feel the engine breathe and the machinery produce a different sort of sound. It kind of opens up and howls out the back in a different way. And I think that howl is a howl of joy.
I've always said I don't own these cars. I'm merely renting them for a while. You watch the gentlemen that are driving those cars, they're like kids in a candy store. They're just giggling. For Patrick Long, who just drove the car, that was actually more of a bucket list for me than me driving, because I got to see what that car actually can do, watching a young man like that take it down.
If there's ever one thing that will take you and make you feel like a kid again, that's strapping into a 4Cam car and hanging it out through the S's at BIR. I tell a story the first time I drove one of these lightweight cars, and it was like watching a movie. I remember feeling like, fuck, I'm Steve McQueen. I'm looking through this yellow lensed windshield, and the engine is right over my shoulder. These are the types of moments that remind you of why and how we all fell in love with getting behind the wheel and driving.
We've worked hard as a company to reach this level of responsibility. Today has been truly a reminder of how good it is to be alive and how fortunate we are as people to enjoy these human feats of engineering and design. I would hope that the people at Porsche that built these cars would be proud to know that their legacy is living on.